this up on the screen that shows it's a lot closer than what some of these other polls have said. 45 yes, 45 no, 10% undecided. That's their poll, different than the media polls. So, obviously they have their own biases there. But Phil, the real effort from the Newsom team now is trying to keep Democrats out of this race, right?
Right. So far, no high-profile Democrat has come forward to challenge Newsom, and if that remains the case, then that's why people are thinking that the recall will be unsuccessful and he'll keep his job.
Especially
then again, remember, we have a primary election next year, right?
Right, and by November, things are going to be open up again.
Exactly, which works in his favor.
All right, Phil Schuman, thank you very much. Okay, to see you. Now to this big story, a big scoop by Axios. If this all turns out to be true, the website saying that President Biden is considering naming L.A. Mayor Eric Garcetti to a high-profile ambassadorship, possibly the ambassador to India. The mayor, one of several candidates under consideration. Garcetti, of course, won re-election in March of 2017 for a 5.5-year term. He's term limited. The election for his successor is scheduled for fall of 2022, Marla. But
and you reached out to the Garcetti camp.
Yeah, so we reached out to the Garcetti team. They basically said that this is speculation. We don't want to comment on speculation. They also didn't push back on it. They didn't say that it's untrue speculation, which is interesting, which leads you to believe maybe there is some truth here. I had talked to Eric Garcetti back in December when he announced that he would not be joining the Biden team, would not be a part of the cabinet. There was some speculation at the time that he would. He said that at the time that L.A. was basically in crisis and that he was needed here. He wouldn't feel right about leaving now. We'll see if that situation has now changed.
Well, and the situation in Los Angeles has changed because we just got the green light today to move into the least restrictive tier as well. So it's a big difference. We're not necessarily in that crisis mode anymore.
And we, of course, know India is in the biggest crisis of anywhere in the country. You're just talking about this. Los Angeles now the first Southern California county to qualify for that less restrictive yellow tier. Thanks to the county's low case rate, positivity rates, this means that we can loosen restrictions as of Thursday. This includes reopening indoor bars at 25% capacity, increased capacity at most businesses and in venues.
And in Orange County, the number of COVID-19 hospitalizations fell out of triple digits for the first time in months yesterday. That's a big victory. The county also reported no deaths yesterday. Today, though, the county reported 72 new cases and 9 new deaths. Orange County continuing to see encouraging overall trends. For more on this, let's bring in Dr. Clayton Chow. He is the director of the Orange County Healthcare Agency. Thank you so much, Dr. Chow, for being with us.
Hi, good evening.
We want to get your reaction first and foremost that Orange County is still in the orange tier with the updated system today. You know that. Are you feeling frustrated by this, or are you still feeling that you are making great strides against COVID-19?
I think we are making great strides as the entire region in Southern California. And so we know that when you get to the lower number, it takes time to come down. And again, I think as the whole region, specifically for Orange County, our community, our residents have been doing a great job in following public health non-medical intervention. So I'm very hopeful.
And, of course, it seems like the state is on track to June 15th. Everything reopens at 100% capacity, no matter what tier you're in. That tier system will then be set to go away. We're looking at shots of people getting vaccinated at some of these mass vaccination sites. Talk to us about your strategy right now going forward. It means less of this, right?
Yes, so we have noticed a drop in demand for vaccine at our superpods. And remember, our superpod runs somewhere between 3,000 to 7,000 shots a site per day. And we've seen that drop. And we are pivoting over to what we call mobile pods, where we take a smaller number of vaccine into the community of needs, into a community where there are certain barriers for people to come to large sites and trying to give the vaccine there. We're running somewhere between 10 to 12 mobile pods a week here in Orange County, and we are going to move towards about 20 to 30 mobile pods a week in Orange County.
Okay, and I know about 42% of Orange County residents are fully vaccinated, so congratulations on that. That is a big deal. Well, speaking of, once you do vaccinated, you get a vaccine card. Orange County, are you toying with the idea as a program for those vaccination, the digital vaccination record? And if so, how does that work?
Thank you for asking that question. I assume that you've been following what's happening in Orange County. So we created an app and an online solution, digital solution, to help people getting the vaccine as well as testing. And you probably heard me talk about Othina. That's the name of the digital solutions. What we're going to be doing is providing a verification for people who got the vaccine through Othina. So it is an opt-in solution, meaning you have to request for it. And so once you request for it, we'll generate a QR code as you see on the screen now, and then if you want for us to send you a card, we will mail a card out to you with a QR code.
So the idea being that if you say you want to go to Disneyland or Anaheim Stadium or other places and they want proof of vaccination, you have a way to do it. That's pretty easy, right?
That's correct. And as a healthcare provider, we're obligated to give people proof of services that they got from us.
And what about, have you received any pushback on this at all?
I don't understand how this.
Of course, I mean there's a lot of political movement against the passport, and you probably have seen there have been people who show up not wanting us to create a passport situation where you potentially could discriminate someone who's not vaccinated. That's not the purpose. Our purpose is to comply with the requirement, and that is as a healthcare provider, if people said, you know, you give me this procedure, you give me the vaccine, I want proof that I've been given the vaccine from you, and that's what we're obligated to do.
All right, Dr. Chow, thank you so much for the work that you've been doing. Thank you for joining us live.
Thank you, Dr. Chow.
Thank you so much.
Still to come, it has been a taxing year, and on this Mental Health Awareness Month, we want to focus on the importance of emotional well-being.
Dr. Drew is a specialist, of course, on this topic, and he will join us live next.
Fox 11 News is sponsored by Sweet James, your accident attorneys.
Accidents never happen at a good time.
We know if you've been injured, you're scared, confused, and have questions. It costs you nothing out of pocket to hire us, and we only get paid if we win your case.
We're here for you and your family. The call is always confidential and always free.
Not all personal injury law firms are the same. Experience counts. Results matter. If your case is important to you, call us now for a free consultation.
I think they like to say yeah. Just put yeah.
We are not profit, but Big Tobacco thinks every black face is another place to make a quick buck. Give to our communities to gain trust, but still filling us with poisons and calling it culture. Pick bills off our bones like vultures. I am not a prophet, but I can see menthol sell cheaper in black hoods, and they're harder to quit because they numb the throat. Their market is the black and the stupid. That's a quote. It's time for black folks to see menthols as another attack. Visit wearenotprofit.org to fight back.
California's choice. Beauty.
Pretty boy.
Or a beast. John Cox grew up with nothing. Made himself a remarkable success. California's falling off a cliff. High taxes, unaffordable costs, even Elon Musk left. Gavin's mismanagement of California is inexcusable. We need big, beastly changes in Sacramento. I'll make them. Recall the beauty. Meet the nicest, smartest beast in California.
Hand her them. Them things.
The new crunch-cotta flavors are here at Del Taco. Try bean and cheese, seasoned beef with Del Taco's signature queso, pork chicken with fresh guacamole. Starting at only $1, only at Del Taco. Del yeah, baby, Del yeah.
Feeling in a funk? Well, we've got top tips to get you out of it. The 5 easy changes you can make that will have long-lasting positive effects. Tomorrow at 5:45 on Good Day LA.
Your Los Angeles Kings take on Phoenix Coyotes Wednesday at 7 p.m. on KCOP 13.
One of the most terrifying chapters in SoCal history. Our exclusive access to the belongings that helped crack the case. Fox 11's True Crime Files, Wednesday at 7 and 10 on Fox 11.
Yeah.
The past year has been rough for most of us. We've seen a lot of pain and experienced a lot of stress. But no matter the challenges we've all gone through, medical experts say we cannot continue to put our sanity and safety on the back burner.
An expert in this field, of course, is our friend, Dr. Drew. That always makes me feel better to be able to say that. And on this Mental Health Awareness Month, who better to talk about this than Dr. Drew? Good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
All right. There are a lot of people that are struggling, even as people start to sort of reopen and things start reopening. That's creating a lot of anxiety as well. If you could walk us through your advice to people that are feeling anxious right now.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was talking to a child and adolescent psychiatrist just today, in fact, and he was discussing how frequently he was seeing depression, mood problems, PTSD, anxiety. The 8 to 15-year-old age group has really suffered markedly, and they need our support and they need scaffolding, which is really what all of us need. But the younger people particularly need that structure and scaffolding and support so they can get back into the business of their developmental process. But make no mistake, we are seeing a final wave, and it's the mental health wave. It was predicted, it is upon us, and it's pretty serious, with many people, over most, predicting really significant psychiatric symptomatology. And I think one of the important things to keep in mind is, when is it just, I'm anxious and this has been tough and we're getting through a tough time, and when do I really have a problem? When do I need to see a physician or a psychologist about this? And the number one issue for an adult is function. If you're having trouble functioning, if you notice changes in your sleep pattern, your appetite pattern, you're having difficulty getting through your day, that is a sign that needs more significant help. But one of the things I really wanted to raise awareness about today was for that adolescent group that we're also very, very concerned about. I think parents get a little confused about when something is a parenting issue and when is something genuinely a mental health problem. And let me just run through quickly some of the basic symptomatology if somebody's really having a problem with a teenager or middle school age kid. And number one, it's a drop in grades. Now, things are a little tough right now, so it's hard to use the grade drop as a significant monitor of what's going on for that child because of how crazy it has been in terms of their participation in school. But if they change their clothing, if they change their sleep pattern, their food eating and appetite patterns, if they're hanging with different friends, which again is difficult to ascertain now because they're so isolated. But these are really significant symptoms that are not of a parenting problem, but typically a mood disorder, obviously substance use, sexually acting out, aggressively acting out. Those things are also important as well. But the challenging thing with that adolescent age group is you can't tell what you're dealing with. It's not as though you can say that's depression, that's substance use. You really need some help with that.
It's not black and white. There's absolutely that gray area. Well, whether you're a kid or you're an adult, there's a stigma about coming forward and acknowledging this and asking for help. So what's your advice to get over that?
Stigma for serious mental illness particularly is one of the most serious things we're dealing with today. And here's the thing. There's being disparaging and sort of discriminating against people with mental illness, but understand they internalize that. It's called self-stigma. And when they internalize the fact that there's something wrong with them, sometimes they develop something called the why even try effect. Why try? I'm impaired. Everyone tells me I'm a mess. Why should I even try? That's a very problematic position for people to be in with serious mental illness. What you've got to do, two things to solve stigma. A, contact. You must reach out and make contact with people with mental illness. Do not recoil. Make contact. And by the way, very quickly you will look at things very differently as you see human beings with an illness rather than something that is unusual and scary to you. And I can't say that strong enough that contact is one of the main ways to deal with stigma. And the other way is to, of course, support people when they have these illnesses and make sure they're getting proper care.
Yeah, and we saw even the boxer Ryan Garcia recently announced that he's going to be postponing his fight because he's having anxiety issues and wants to treat his own mental health. And good for him for saying that, because I think there's a lot of people that are afraid to speak up about that publicly, and somebody in such a sort of strong, masculine-driven sport like that, I think that's going to bring...
And Alex, if I could... One other way of dealing with stigma is to become an advocate. They find that a lot of people can turn that stigma into advocacy where they feel empowered and they help others with this condition as well.
And COVID-19 syndrome is actually, COVID-19 anxiety is actually becoming a syndrome where people are afraid to go out and about because of the virus, despite being vaccinated. So that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a real thing. We've had sort of a strange turn into panic, anxiety, histrionics, and the key thing there is to get people grounded in reality. You don't reason with them so much as just go, look, here's what's actually going on, listen to me, and let's move forward.
Well,
and just keep things repeating. Yeah.
Dr. Drew is not somebody who's afraid to go out, but he's got quite a terrifying story to tell us about the time that he did go out. He didn't get COVID, but he was forced to run for cover and huddle in a corner during a shootout. More with Dr. Drew. What happened here? Stay with us.
Morongo, playing it safe. The good times are back.
$7.98. $7.98.
Jim, what's $7.98?
It's this. An 11-inch hybrid mattress with copper-infused gel memory foam and the support of adjustable base.
15 minutes.
An 11-inch hybrid mattress
15 minutes to
would cost
55
over
seconds.
$800 elsewhere.
Well, now at Jerome's, you get both this hybrid queen mattress and head
Now I'm putting
adjustable
it on
base for only
YouTube.
$7.98.
Plus, get
Oh, wait.
special financing and fast